Hey guys, it's Stacy from My Petite Garden. Thank you so much for watching this video. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of the Aroids that I currently have in my collection that I really enjoy growing and has done well so far for me. So I thought I'd share it with you guys and maybe spark some interest. So when I say Aroids, I'm referring specifically to Philodendrons, Anthurium, Syngonium, and Monstera. I think those are the ones that I'm going to be talking about in this video. There are many more, obviously, but these will be the ones that I'm going to be highlighting today. So as always, thank you guys so much for all of your support and all of your comments and likes. I really enjoy reading all of your comments and I always try to reply to you guys, so keep them coming. So if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe and let's get into the video. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with the Philodendron Sodiroi. This is a climbing philodendron and it has beautiful glossy silver leaves, and the foliage has this almost pillowy look to it, which I personally really love. And the sinus of the plant, which is that little U-shaped dip at the top, is very unique, where it actually almost forms a U shape and the sinuses don't touch each other. And it took me a while to finally find a true Sodiroi because there are so many different unknown hybrids of this plant on the market right now. So when I found this guy, I was actually really happy. And you'll see there's a new leaf coming out, and this guy has always been a consistent grower for me. And at some point, I'm probably gonna have to give him a pole of some sort to climb on. Next is a more common one, the Philodendron Micans. This is a beautiful vining philodendron. The heart-shaped leaves are so velvety and almost looking a little quilted in texture. What I find is the most interesting aspect of the Micans is that the color of the foliage can vary depending on the light it's under and the stage of maturity of the leaf. This guy is very easy care for sure, and right now mine looks a bit bushier, but as you can see there are some signs of vining already from some of the stems. Moving on to a different genus of Aroids, this is the Anthurium Vittarifolium, my one and only strap-leaf Anthurium. The leaves are almost cardboard-like and it can grow to be very long. I honestly didn't think that I would be a fan of this plant until I got one for myself and started growing it. For me, it's very easy to grow, and the hanging strap leaves make a beautiful statement on your plant shelves or as a hanging plant. I have mine just draped on the corner of my plant shelf and I really like the look of it. Mine is growing in semi-hydro and it's actually doing really well. Here is my Monstera, Borsigiana, Albo, Variegata. I love the beautiful marbling variegation on this plant, and I got this plant as an unrooted 2-leaf cutting, and to be honest, I was pretty nervous about rooting it, but it actually gave me no trouble and rooted beautifully and has continuously thrived for me. This is another climber, so I did end up giving it a pull once it started growing taller, and I'm pretty excited to see it continue to grow. This is my Variegated Syngonium podophyllum, and in my opinion, this plant has the most beautiful white on green variegation. As with most variegated plants, each leaf that unfurls is a surprise. However, I think that the foliage on this particular plant has the most unique variegation. This plant will tend to vine if you let it, and at one point I was pruning it back to keep it bushy, but recently I've decided to let mine vine and just hang on my plant shelf. I find this guy to be an easy and fast grower, so I've been able to continuously propagate from it, which is always great. Here we have my Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. A lot of people like to call this guy a mini Monstera, and I think it suits it well because the foliage does remind me of a mini version of the Monstera leaf, but just remember it's not related to Monsteras. The one that you're looking at right now is actually a cutting that I took off my mother plant that I rooted in water, and it unfurled this beautiful huge leaf. This leaf is bigger than any leaf on the mother plant, and if you see, it actually has a fenestration in the middle of it, which I've never seen before on any of my Rhaphies. So I'm actually quite shocked, but at the same time very happy that this cutting is doing so well. I personally have grown both the tissue culture version as well as the non-tissue culture version of this plant, and I find that as the plants mature, the foliage will all start to look the same at the end, so whichever one you have, they are both going to grow beautifully. Here is a larger plant of the Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma, and unlike the cutting that you saw in the prior clip, this particular plant is a tissue culture plant. However, I think the foliage on both plants are beautiful. Next is an extremely easy one to grow and a beauty that I think everyone might be familiar with. This is the Philodendron Pink Princess. The plant that you're looking at here is actually a top cutting that I propagated off my mother plant, and I rooted it in water, and now it's its own plant. Philodendron pink princesses are extremely easy to propagate. They root very well for me, and I think the variegation on it is just absolutely beautiful. I am not one to go crazy for pink plants, but this particular green, almost black and pink variegated plant became a favorite of mine very quickly. And the reason why I propagated this plant was because I felt like it was growing too tall and I wanted to make it a bushier plant, so I propagated it, and now it's its own plant. The bottom half of the plant that was originally already rooted is also doing really well and recently put out a beautiful variegated leaf for me. This is my variegated Philodendron Burle Marx. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I first got my plant from overseas, it came with root rot and I was almost sure I was going to lose the plant, but he bounced back very nicely. At one point, I had the regular version of the Burle Marx, and it was such an easy grower for me. So it was no surprise that this variegated version is also a really great no fuss plant. So he's bounced back so nicely, putting out a lot of beautiful variegated leaf, and each leaf is just so cute with its little like elongated heart shape. That's how I would describe it, and with little splotches of variegation on it. I really enjoy watching this one grow. Next is the hybrid of the Philodendron Verrucosum and Melanochrysum. I absolutely love this hybrid because I find it so much easier to grow than both of its parents. Both of the Verrucosum and Melanochrysum are pretty fussy plants in my opinion. The leaves maintain that beautiful velvety texture, and I believe this hybrid has the potential to grow to be larger than its parents. Another very unique climbing philodendron is this Philodendron Burle Marx Fantasy. The smooth foliage is almost silver in color, and the veining on it is what really got me attracted to this plant. It has a scale-like pattern to it that kind of reminds me of like a reptile. and the texture of the leaves is so amazing. It's really smooth, but at the same time very firm, very tough feeling, and you can almost feel the veining on the plant a little bit. It's very difficult to describe in words. I've had mine growing on a pole since I got it, and it has been such a consistent grower for me, putting out leaf after leaf almost on a schedule. So I'm really happy with how he's doing in my home. The last one we're going to talk about in this video will be the Philodendron Gloriosum. And unlike the previous ones that I mentioned, this one is a crawler, so it grows along the ground, or in my case, along the soil surface in the pot. This philodendron has got to have some of the most stunning foliage, with the deep velvet green leaves contrast with the white veining. And not to mention, the leaves are heart-shaped, of course. And here you'll see I have 2 new growth points coming out with the leaf in the process of unfurling, so I'm very excited. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope it was helpful to some of you guys who are interested in any of these plants. And as always, if you have any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll definitely try to get back to you guys. And please remember to comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already, and you can follow me on my Instagram at mypetiquegarden, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!